G'day, welcome to Operation Roadrunner. This is my mission and I'm going to show you how it works today because it's a bit complicated, but it's good fun. This is version 2.1 kilo, but any updates I make will still work with the instructions in here. The scenario is that Russia is attacking Georgia, which, let's be honest, is the scenario in every single mission I've made for the Caucasus, but this one has a difference. We're losing the war. The Russians have taken out most of the runways on the map. They've taken out Sanaki, Koboleti, Kutaisi, they're all cactus, and they're being re-bombed as we sit on the ground. We do have Batumi, but Batumi's a bit small. A couple of jets here, not much. It's also a bit out of the way. We've got Tbilisi, which can be useful for this part of the war, but it's also a bit too far. The idea in the planners before the war happened was to make some road bases, and that has happened. Oh, we've got some carriers here, but they're sort of just there for testing, really. The idea is, you take off, you do your strikes, you hit your targets, and then you hide in the forests on these road bases. And I'm going to show you how they work. So we'll get into the mission, and we'll get to it. Well, before we get in, I'll just show you quickly what I'm going to show you later on, but the landing flares are a bit funny. Basically, this system helps align you for landing. If you fly into an area and you're not aligned with the runway, you will be guided in, and you'll see it in a sec. Let's go flying. We've got a briefing here. This is the most important part here. Explains the different road bases, their TACANs, their frequencies, and most importantly their headings. Getting this right and coming in on the right angle is the best way to have a safe and healthy landing on a road base. Now we'll be flying the Harrier today. I'm not brilliant in the Harrier, so please show some patience, and I'll show some humility at least when I'm flying it, but let's have a crack. So here we have the different slots. We have a lot of different Harriers, basically every module's here that I could think of. We'll go from a Harrier that's already at one of the road bases, so you sort of read off the group name, and we want Dublin, because Dublin's really pretty. Okay, we're sitting here quite calmly on standby, and what's that black dot? Some Russian attack jets off to hit some targets. Oh well, better get ourselves up and running. Battery on, pumps on, decks and whatnot. Cool. Oh, you have to remove the wheel chocks before you turn on the engine.
Chief, remove the wheel chocks.
I keep forgetting that.
Copy. Wheel chocks are now removed.
RPM's building, that's good. Cool. Oh, while the engine's starting up, I might get some stores. I usually run with 4 Zuni pods. I'll just close the lid. So they're heavy rockets, they're pretty accurate, and you don't really want to be doing orbits with a targeting pod in this mission. Be quick, get in, get out, survive. Okay, waypoint aircraft, let's have a quick look. Okay, do an INS alignment, this shouldn't take too long, and I'll probably time accelerate it. Hastings 042156. Did it get those 2 numbers? It didn't get the Eastings.
Rearming complete.
Don't mind me. Enter. We've got both the Eastings and the Northings, that's good. Our Magvar is east at 6.2 degrees. Alright, we can run the alignment now. Cool. Alignment's going to start, we've got a timer, that's good. Okay, we've got our rocket pods. We've got our crew here. I know it looks a bit funny having carrier sort of units and people out here rearming us and powering us and whatnot, but I like having them. The road bases themselves are divided into 2 different sections. Here we're at one of the rearming and refueling points, and this is the actual strip. Now you will notice that there are those 2 white shipping containers. We landed those, and if we get a bit closer, here we go. So on the left side we have a TACAN, portable TACAN that will guide you in towards a landing from a good distance off. And on the right side we have a mortar, which is actually a flare launcher. So that is how landing system works. One more thing, every base has a turnaround point, or they should have at least, to make it easier to get around. Just a side road to help you get around. The flags, I should say, denote what is what. So if you see white and red flags, that's a turnaround point. If you see a stack of red flags, don't mind me, flags, like here, they are to warn you of a sharp bend in the road. Particularly things like the F-16 or aircraft that tip, you want to really watch out for that. How's our alignment going? I might accelerate it, maybe a moment. And pop. Alignment's done. Switch to nav. Oh, we need to fix that. That color is just awful. So to fix that, you open up map and then you click color on the bottom here. Okay. Let's start the mission. So F10. We will start the Abkhazian ground war because that's where we are. And we could also spawn if we wanted to some air-to-air stuff. I'm going to hold off because I'm not great in the Harrier in dogfights. So, but basically MiG-19s and MiG-21s spawn on easy. You get MiG-23s and 25s on medium, and on hard you get everything I can throw at you. MiG-29s, C-30s, and when they release the pack fire, you'll get them too. This is our road-based landing system, on and off. I'll show you that later on. And yeah, there's two fronts to the war, so just for those who aren't great with geography, this section over here, see the thin red line running up here? This section denotes Abkhazia. It's the region that has been taken by Russia. Well, practically Russia has taken that over. And the same is true in South Ossetia, or Ossetia, over here. Right now there's not much going on here, but there's a lot going on here. So we've spawned in that mission, which means we've got convoys on their way, and we'll get information through messages to help us out. Alright, let's get to it. So you could wait here until... Ooh, hello there, another one. Another pair of them. So having hit their targets, they're free game to take out. Let's go. I'll get some flaps happening. Okay. And I'll get rid of the parking brake. And the skid's on, is it? Okay, we'll get rid of that too. Yeah, you definitely want to have anti-skid when you're landing on one of these fields. That is particularly true for the F-18. It is possible to land a Hornet on these fields. It's not easy, but it is possible. When you do land on a road base, the most important thing to remember is alignment. So don't worry about braking so much. They're actually pretty generous in length. I can't believe I just said that. But yeah, worry more about staying straight and on course, and less about braking. If you're flying the Harrier or the Viggen, use your reverse thrust. With the Harrier, we just set the nozzles to 99 and we get some braking like that. There we go. Yeah, Viggens and Harriers are where the action really is. We won't use any water. Go 10 degrees and then we'll rotate when we need to. Power on. So the Harrier has no trouble with these bases. Alright, up we go. Gear. Just going to gently push the nozzles forward. Turn that off. There we go. Smooth and beautiful. Gears up. Let's set our flaps to auto. Okay. Let's go stores page. Man, it's really hard to read these at the moment. Yeah. We will just push this up to 4 rockets in a burst. I'll set a bit of interval. I don't think it does much with rockets, but why not? Master arm on, air ground. Cool. So now we are combat capable, and we can see some smoke over there. That's one of the runways that's been hit, and we're going to fly towards Zugdidi. So right now we're heading towards waypoint Dallas. So Dallas is one of the riskier road bases that I've made. Dallas sits right at the bottom of Zugdidi, which, as you will see, is being shelled and has smoke all over it. It's also inside an SA2 engagement zone. It won't normally fire at you if you're nice and low, but it is a pretty rough place to go flying. So our target will be around here. Oh, hang on. Waypoints to add. Let's do this. Waypoint 77, that'll give us a new waypoint. 8. Northings. And let's go 4, 2... hang on. I'm out of practice, aren't I? Position. Northings. Ooh, my power's a bit too high. 15 seconds means I'm overheating the engine. Eastings 0, 4, 1, 5, 1, 0, 0. Enter. Let's check our elevation. That looks good. Okay, we've got a waypoint at that one. Done. And we'll sequence through to that waypoint. And that will give us... Waypoint 8 was the one we made, wasn't it? Yep. So I'm guessing what the target we're being given is a bridge. I'm guessing that because I've made the mission and I know that. So there's also a convoy coming in behind all that. That might have just looked cool, but I was trying to check if we had brought the air brake up. Sometimes when you put the gear down or do any sort of nozzle work, the air brake deploys. So yeah, as you can see, Zugdidi is not a happy place right now. Fly at a slight offset. Master arms on. Oh, we should definitely set our countermeasures on and turn on this stuff. That's super important. Still not quite sure what FF means. I think it's one of those Grisha sort of frigates, like frigate, I think it might be, but can't confirm. So our target should be over this side. Let's see if it's on the right spot. Yeah, I see a bridge through there. Perfect. Actually, we're aligned really nicely for this. Let's go for it, full power. Playing with my camera, hope you guys don't mind. I might just put this to EW so I can keep an eye on what's targeting us. EW. That's an SA2 is acquiring us, but we can get away if he fires, so that's okay. Alright. Starting to unwind. Cool. And we come off to the side. Normally we wouldn't overfly our target, but this way we get to see how that bridge goes down, if it's going to go down. Maybe I should have focused my fire a bit more. Oh no, there it goes. Bridge out. Got 4 rockets left, may as well stick them on the rest of the bridge, make it even harder for the Russian engineers to repair it. But remember, they do have amphibious units, so watch out for them. Let's have a quick look here. Yeah, so I can hit that. I love Zuni rockets, they're just my favourite. Alright, let's get some cover through these trees. So now we want to sequence our waypoint to waypoint 1. And, oh, I keep missing it, don't mind me. Cool. So waypoint 1 is the field Dallas, which is right at the bottom of Zugdidi. So we open our comms menu and we say, yes please, I would like to have the landing system on because I want to show it off and it's super cool. So now we would check our briefing, which because it's single player is paused. And for Dallas, the heading to fly is 22 degrees. Now I'm checking these because some of them are incorrect. There's magnetic heading and then there's true heading, and it seems to be a compromise between the two. So 22 is about right, but you should trust the flares. So since we've got this waypoint all set up, let's go to 2 degrees. Cool. Really happy that they added the fact that we can enter in through the scratch pad, because that's much better than it was before. So what you can do is you can fly nice and close and parallel to the runway like we are now. Run the power back a bit. And when we get offset slightly, where are we, say 2 miles, we want to wait until we see about 5 miles. Give ourselves plenty of time to sweeten up the approach. Also the TACAN works the same way. Power's coming back nicely. I'm going to add a couple of degrees of nozzles, maybe 40 degrees just to really slow us down. And I'm going to start turning in and we'll get some instructions shortly. Some flaps to bring the turn in. Okay. Now you can use, don't mind me for a second. You can use, okay, so being told to come right. So what that means is, if we draw a line from the runway, you can see it coming through here. We're being told we need to drift to the right more, which is normal. The commands actually extend to about here, so we're cutting in nice and early. Now I'm staying in nav mode down here, nav mode, not VTOL mode, because I really want to be able to see the threshold of the runway. This means we've got to really mind our vertical velocity on landing and pay attention to our nozzle position on the right side, above the right DDI. Right MFD, I should say. So with 40 degrees nozzle, you come in pretty slow. There we go. So you will notice that there are flares coming off that runway up ahead. You'll see some more as we come in. You get white flares if you're aligned. You get green and red if you are off, left and right, and so forth. Again, make sure you're trusting the ghost flight path marker. And we've got a bit of turbulence, so we're going to fly it nice and loose. If the wind's really bad, come in a bit faster like I am. I mean, the Harrier could land at, well, 0 knots, but there's another flare. The flares are there more to help you when it's poor visibility or nighttime. They give you a quick reference to sort of confirm that you're on heading. And yeah, you can see here, like the course line in the mission is not correct, so it really needs to be about 220, I'd say, looking at that. So I will have to fix that. So it'll be fixed by the time you guys fly it. And let's just keep it real and groovy. Adding some nozzles. Adding some more nozzles. There we go. Bit of power to just have vertical velocity. Nozzles back. Flaps up. Adding power for the nozzles. And I'm just using the rudders here at this point. I'm going to start adding a bit of nozzle steering. There we go. And now some brakes. Keep some speed so that you can get across the rearming stations nice and fast. Remember, this is a war we're fighting here. Cool. And here we are, safely hidden in the very city that's being bombed. So brakes are on, and let's get ourselves rearmed and refueled. Oh. Be good to put the parking brake on so we're not flying around the place when this is happening. And just add rearm and refuel. And that's how it works. You come in, you land, and that's all good and groovy. I'll make another video in a bit of the like a night approach, because that's where you really see these systems coming into play. But I want to make sure that these angles are all correct first before I put you guys through that. Alright, well, thank you for your time. The other bases look exquisite. I'm going to show you them all one after another, just so you get an idea of what you're looking forward to. It is, some of them are easier than others. The length of Dallas here is good. You can really come in, I can land about here. If you're in a Hornet, I'd probably land nice and early because the brakes aren't great. Let's go to the next one. So we've seen Dublin, where we took off from. We've got Madrid down here, which is like a test base. It hasn't got any flares or landing because I didn't want to do it 4 times, but it's a good place to kind of practice and go over it. These strips are actually a bit shorter than the full road bases, but they're wider. This is London, the first I made. Give me a second, I'll just pull it up. Got some more coordinates coming in. So just a quick thing with London. This is the approach as you're coming in. Now, that tree, sort of hard to show here, I can't give you a cursor. That tree right here in the foreground, yeah? That is a real nasty one. So you sort of want to come in slightly offset and kind of crab it in, particularly with wide-wing aircraft like Hornets and whatnot. You still land at the white containers, but they're a bit hard to spot there. On takeoff, I've seen people try and take off from way back here where these 2 little white houses are. The problem is, and it's a bit hard to spot, but there's a hump in the road right where that watchtower is. The watchtower means you take off from this point. So if you take off earlier, the Harrier and the Vegan will get actually a little bit of air, and they'll actually crash down on the other side of the road because they aren't quite fast enough yet. So really wait until that point and take off properly. But you've got your rearming stations down here and your turnaround zones there. I'll just rush through the next couple. Notice there's heaps of wind socks too. I want you guys to know where the wind is when you're flying, so that helps. Okay, this was found by Tractor. He's on YouTube. Track him down. He's great to watch. Biggest issue here, of course, are the the telephone power line things here. But a fairly simple road base to land on, and you've got really nice sort of rearming station here on the edge of this town. I'll show you the rest at a different time, but that's how the mission works. So have fun. If you have any issues with it, post messages on this video or post them to the user files link. That link, of course, is in the description, unless I forget it. No, it'll be there. And have fun. Good hunting.